Hey everyone, this is Aaron with Budget Bros. Back today with another budget breakdown. Today the topic is going to be taxes and specifically looking at ways when you are going to save up for an item or spend some money, incorporating taxes into it just as a different way of thinking other than just the cost of the item itself. So I'm going to do a pretty simple example today, and we're just going to talk about, let's say, a pair of headphones. So if you are wanting to purchase a pair of headphones, let's say they are $120, because I'll try to make my life difficult with some math on the fly here. So $120, let's say you saved up and you want to purchase those. That's great. You have the money, you're ready to buy them. But let's break down the 120 a little bit. So if you're like me, most states have a certain percent of sales tax. So we're going to do the red because the red is the evil sales tax. Where I live, it's about 6%, maybe 7%, depending on what county we're in. So quick math on that makes it out the door. 6% of 120 is, let's call it $6 is 100, so then a fifth of that, so $7.20. So that brings your total to $129.20. And you probably are thinking, that's not very much. And you're also probably thinking that's not even the right math because it's actually $127.20. But, you know, to err is human. So that's going to be your total cost, right? So that is a good way to look at it of like, hey, I'm going to be sending an extra $7.20 because that's what the sales tax is. And if you're just thinking that this is really elementary math because obviously that's not very much more money, I can find the $7. Well, that's not the end of the whole story. So we're going to call this now a baseline price of $127.20 instead of $120. The biggest thing, and the reason I'm doing this video, is because what we often don't incorporate into any sort of purchase, especially if it's a bigger purchase like this, as opposed to a $10 meal somewhere or $20 to get a new t-shirt or pair of shorts or whatever that would be, so we don't incorporate the fact that our income tax is taken out before this. So really the $127 is the total price, but only to a certain extent because you had to make a certain amount of money to get to this point. So I would say I'm just going to use a baseline of 20% income tax or total taxes taken out prior to. So based on your income, based on maybe your state income tax, maybe your state doesn't have an income tax, but let's call it 20% for federal taxes, for state taxes, maybe you have a city tax. Take all this out first, and then you're left with this times 1.2%. So all of a sudden, what you have to make to get there is the $127 times 20 cents. Then you have to add 20% on top of that, which in this case is about $25, give or take. Now, I'm not going to do that math quite on the fly, but I'm just taking the 125 times 0.2, which is, $25. So that's where I'm adding that. It's obviously a little bit more. So now you're talking about $152.25 or 20 cents. So if we go back up all the way to here with the initial of 120, bring it down. So you're talking about really what you're having to make to buy a $120 item is $152 and more. It's actually $32 more than that. So that may be something you're still willing to buy. Maybe something that you can say, okay, I'm still fine to spend the extra $30. But if you think about it like this, this is what the price is and what it seems like, but this is what you're actually having to spend at front or to make in order to get that amount, that difference of the $32.20 might either persuade you to not buy it, look for a different option, or in order to get to this price, say, hey, I have to actually make this amount of money to be comfortable to spend that amount. Because at this point, 32 into the 120 is more than the 25%. You're looking at closer to like 27% of the actual cost more than you even would maybe think of from the start. So just another little way to think about your spending, and the best course of action is actually to save a good amount more before you want to spend the good amount less, because that's how much you're actually spending in the long run. So that's just another little tip. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time. Thanks.